business that you have. It'll work for you in profitable partners as well, or recruiting, or raising funds for a great cause, or raising awareness for a great cause. I mean, the 530 grid is how do you generate more leads? How do you generate better and more leads? Once you get a lead, what do you do with it? Area 2. Area 3 is the sale. That's the yes or the no. And so there's specific, John had said, that's one of the things he's challenged with. There is a science to this that is absolutely razor sharp. One pause, tonality, a piece of it. That's where you understand personality masteries. That's where you have the systems. That's where you go through and understand the DNA for life. You take a box 12, a success that you have from somebody, you plug that in. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. A system, when it works well, you don't even notice it, it's there. Like a light switch, you come in and all of a sudden the light switch just flips and turns on. The projector, not so much. We had to have some work on that earlier. So that system was not quite perfect. When you have profitable partnerships, you're going to leverage all of their systems, all of their networks, all their processes together. And that's why it's so important that everybody has a similar type of boss. Everybody's working based on personalities. Everybody's working and building their business based on the 530 grid. Everyone's understanding the DNA on life. And so all of the profitable partners I have, when I say box 12, they know exactly what that means. It's taking a success from servicing and plugging it back into marketing, which generates more and better leads, plugging that success back into pre-sales to converting more of those prospects into the sale because of testimonies, and then converting them faster in sales. So you get all on the same language and you get committed, and all those things are magical. Now the third is going to be the DNA for life. It's the hardest to teach. The personality masteries, there's 4 personalities. If you look at primary and secondary, once you identify somebody's personality, you know their strengths, weaknesses, what they like, what they don't, turns them on, turns them off. If they're married, who they're married to. You know what the conflict in the marriage is. You know why you'll like them, why you won't. So the average person, the average salesperson can only convert 1 out of 10 leads. If you look at primary and secondary personalities, they're 1/16 to 6.3%. So an average person on the street can sell to 6.3% of the population. A salesperson, somebody who does it for a living, isn't that much better. It's only 10%. You learn personalities, you can double your sales closing ratio, because what causes one personality pain will actually give another personality pleasure. And so you think you're drawing them into you, you're not. You're pushing them away. You think you're building trust, but you're not. They're losing trust every time that they talk to you. So understanding personalities is fairly easy, but there's 16 primary and secondary when you look at 3, there's 64 when you look at 4, there's 256. If you look at the Geo and the Pain Quadrant test, there's 65,536 possible combinations. So the more you know about it, the more you don't. The 530 grid, fairly easy, but comprehensive. The DNA for life, it's like, there's over 250 natural laws that have been discovered, and they're not linear necessarily in how you learn them. So what is a natural law? It's like the law of gravity. You can believe in the law or not believe in the law. It doesn't matter. Laws are laws. I mean, I always love when people say, I don't know, Mark, if that's going to really work. Okay, I mean, believe it, not believe it. It doesn't matter to me, because truth will always be truth. So you jump out of an airplane, and you're going to die. You honor these natural laws, the 530 grid, the DNA for business, DNA for people, DNA for life. You understand those, follow those natural laws, you will see success. You just will. It's just going to happen. You don't, you won't. Halfway down, the person's like, well, you said I was going to die, Mark. I'm not dead. Fine. Okay, sorry that I told you it was going to take, 30 seconds when it's really going to take a minute to die. And so these natural laws are universal in all nature. And Melissa's going to share a natural law that is, I believe, she's just starting her own company. She called me a few weeks back and she said, hey, can you help me start my own company? And I said, yeah, I'd recommend that you go ahead and start an EVA company specifically focused in on sales. So she's starting an EVA company. She's becoming certified through Life Masteries Institute. And so she's going to focus in on here. The EVAs, when they get trained, they go through exhaustive training. There's only 18% of them that actually graduate. So 82%, they're gone. Because it's a rigorous program. So they get general training in all of this, but she's going to have specialized training in this. She was born and bred, birthed, and her DNA was designed to be a salesperson. She's a double expressive as a primary, and a double driver as secondary. So that's the type of individual. She is going to be a killer closer. I mean, just a killer closer. Because she'll make it fun, and she's not afraid to ask for the order. The challenge that she has is because she's a double expressive and a double driver, is she might at times be a tad impatient with results or with other people. And so what she's going through, she's learning Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And so she's going through that. And so in that, there's a whole bunch of natural laws. And these natural laws, you can believe them, not believe them. You know what, 7 kids, I've been through just about, I think, almost everything. And I've kind of come to the conclusion, you know what, I'm your dad, your teenagers are adults now, I'll share truth with you. You can believe it or not believe it, it's up to you. I mean, if you want to learn the hard way, you can learn the hard way. Same thing is true with people. People can either believe it or not believe it. But these natural laws change the way people think. So, Melissa, let's welcome Melissa.
My name is Melissa. I'm Mark Worsman's third oldest child. I started to read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Has anyone ever read this? Tried to look. Really good book. I recommend it. I'm not a big reader either. Best part about it is I actually don't read at all. I don't have the patience to sit down and read. And once I called my dad and told him that I wanted to start my own business, I literally was like pumped. I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I have this whole law on everything. So I started to read this, and the moment that I started reading it, my boss at my other job told me that this is a dangerous book because you get pumped up and then you just lose it. But the natural law, it's funny because I have a $2 bill as a bookmark, the natural law that I'm going to talk about today is called the 3 feet from gold. It is like, it's the most outspoken thing that I read. When I read this, I was mind blown. All right, so it talks about this guy, and he finds his mine. He hears about it. He's like stuck on gold. He's like, I'm going to find gold. So he finds his mine, Colorado somewhere. And he finds it, and he starts digging. He starts digging and continues to dig and finds something. So he immediately goes home to his family, digs up, hides whatever he finds. He goes home to his family and says, hey, there's a gold mine here. I need the money. I need the resources. Can you help me? His whole family lends in, finds the resources, finds all the equipment, and he goes. So they start digging. For months, they start digging. They find a little bit, and they get all excited for the millions of dollars they're going to make, and everything's going to be huge. And then they continue to find, they continue to dig, and they couldn't find anything. They kept digging, and months go by. And it comes to this point where he just stops. He was like, you know what? We've come to this point. There's nothing here. Let's just sell our stuff, and we'll pick up from what we have. So he sells the stuff to this junk man. All the materials and everything. This guy wasn't dumb though. What he did was he ended up continuing to locate everything. He did the mathematical, he did everything on it. Turns out that he actually, Darby was his name, the Darby that searched for it. Darby stopped searching for the gold 3 feet before the gold was actually struck. 3 feet. When he learned this, he's now a very successful insurance man. When he learned this, can you imagine the amount of frustration that he had? Just for me, going through, I moved to Nashville about 8 months ago. I moved there with a job all lined up. Loved this job more than anything. The job, I got transferred from a job here out to Nashville. Loved that job. One there was not anything like the one here. and it didn't work out. It didn't work out at all. So my whole plan was shattered, everything. I had, you know, my best friend back there, Peter, he had to help pick me up from that. My parents had to help pick me up from that. My brother that moved down here. I had to pick myself up from that, and I was like, you know what? There's nothing left here. Like, I moved all the way out here. And then it happened one day. Like, something just picked me up. Something shattered, and I had to find all the broken pieces. And it was one of those things where I was like, I came so close from doing that. And once I called my dad and told him that I could do that, that I wanted to start my own company, I came 3 feet from gold. And at that point, I wanted to find the gold. So when my best friend from Wisconsin, I have a journal here, and my dad's like, you know, my dad always tells me this all amount of honesty, but he tries to keep away. So when I told him I was all pumped up to start my own company, you know, I told my best friend that too, and I said, hey, listen, you know, I got to make sure I keep on this. I got to stay motivated, because, I mean, in all reality, how many of us actually like get super pumped up for something and then we just kind of fall down a little bit? I do it like every day. Exactly. And you're not even expressive. See, I get so pumped up for something, and all of a sudden, like 3 days later, I'm like, yeah, no, we'll do it tomorrow. So instead, I came up with a list in my journal. I came up with a list of things that I find, patterns. Patterns of when, you know, one of them was that I get super pumped up for something, and then, you know, I get high expectations of it. And when I expect high expectations, I constantly think, you know, this time around is different. This time, I've never had this before. I've never felt like this before. That's where I go wrong. Because all of a sudden, that's when I'm like, this is a natural law. This is a natural law to where if you get 3 feet from something and you're so excited for it, you just kind of, you don't realize that you're 3 feet away. You don't realize that you were literally right there. So instead, the guy, instead of letting it beat him down and become bitter and everything, he told himself, he's like, I'm an insurance man now. Told himself, I'm never going to let a man tell me no on insurance. Never. So he didn't. He's a very, very successful person. So the natural law of it, even though you may not have conquered everything that you may have thought, I moved to Nashville, I thought I was going to have this huge dream. It didn't work out. Now, I mean, I'm not super successful yet, but I will be, and no matter what takes, you know, a turn for the things that I may not understand, I'm still going to get there, and it's 3 feet from gold. So don't give up on it. Yet.
All right. All right. So how many of us in the room get pumped up, motivated, inspired, really excited, and then we don't follow it through? Huh? Any of us run into that? Okay. The accountability and the disciplines and the systems, you know, are really, really important. And so I asked Melissa last night when we were talking, and I said, "What's your wow income goal over the next 12 months?" And she said, "You know, Dad, I'd really like to go ahead and earn $50,000." I said, "It's not enough. It's not enough." And she's going after 100,000. In profitable partnerships, what she will learn through the certification through Life Masters Institute is she's going to learn how to leverage her gifts and her talents and her skills for the benefit of other individuals. And so when we look at the personalities, she's got a double expressive, and she's got as a primary and a double driver as secondary. So one of her greatest strengths is her energy, excitement, enthusiasm. One of her greatest weaknesses is her energy, excitement, enthusiasm. One of her greatest strengths is a million ideas. One of her greatest weaknesses is a million ideas. That's her primary personality. I mean, you can imagine what it's like to be a father of a daughter. I'm a driver. I like things controlled, and I like things in order. What do you think it's like raising a daughter that's an expressive double? Let's just say it's a very growing experience. Let's say that, okay? But that expressive, she has She has God-given strengths that I could never have. So I've learned how to be an expressive. Emily just made my day. I mean, it was so cool. We were at a coffee connection, and we're talking, and I asked Emily like what she thought of the coffee connection and everything, and she touched my heart in such an amazing way. Have you ever found that when people ask for input, they really don't want it? Anybody ever? So you're like, I don't know, do I want it? Do I not want it? I mean, so I asked Emily for the input, and she paused. She's very sweet about it. She's very nice, and she says, well, Mark, you kind of talked a lot about yourself. I said, wow. And kind of, I mean, I don't know if she used the word, but kind of narcissistic. And inside, I'm like so excited. I'm like, this is so awesome. I have finally, I mean, if Melissa would have been there, I'd have been so proud. Because the expressive personality, I mean, I spent 3 years studying. I mean, Melissa was born with this gift. I had to work really hard for it. And what I found in those 3 years of being an expressive is it's the weirdest thing. Because the expressive is so narcissistic. It's like the world revolves around them. And that's what a lot of public speakers are. And it's because everybody wants to, and I think it's everybody wants to be narcissistic. I think everybody wants the world to revolve around them. And so they tend to attract a lot of people. They're great. They're so much fun. I mean, when Melissa and I go on a date night, and there's so much fun that she brings to my life. Now, being married to one or being close friends, sometimes there's a little downside to that. So it's how do we take all of these things and blend them all together? How do you take your gifts and how do you combine them together? And one of the things that I think this group needs really bad is I think we need music. I just have this sense. We need music at the beginning. We need it at the end. Music does something to it. It's like, I am not so strong in music, It's like, I'm just not. So we need to find somebody that can bring this stuff together because it will add a new dimension to the group. It will open up people's hearts and minds. And so if any of you are interested in leading that particular piece up, definitely talk to me. Because I have no idea what kind of music would go ahead and move people, open people up, motivate and inspire people, get people to lock in and say, you know what, I need to think a little different. I need to follow through. I need to be inspired. I need to be encouraged.